Welcome back to Outnumbered and Uproar over Obamacare at one of the country's most prestigious universities. Some of the experts at Harvard University who not only championed the Affordable Care Act but advised President Obama on it are now paying more because of it. And they tell the New York Times they're not happy. The school is increasing how much its staff has to contribute to their plans, saying it has to respond to the national trend of rising health care costs. Members of the faculty overwhelmingly voted down the changes in November, but it was too late. One professor saying the new out-of-pocket costs are, quote, equivalent to taxing the sick. And that's not all. Jedediah, you have worked in academia.
Yes.
These folks are not happy because an idea they supported, and there were some of them who wrote open letters, this is the greatest thing ever, we support you, President Obama, now calling it deplorable, deeply regressive, and saying it's a punishment, it's a pay cut.
They somehow thought it wasn't going to affect them. They really did. I mean, these Harvard professors, you know, supposedly great researchers, didn't do their research, and they didn't realize that, hey, guess what, you're part of the system too. And this happens all the time, right? When we try to reform things and all of a sudden people realize you want to reform entitlements. Wait a minute, don't take my stuff. It shouldn't affect me. And that's what's happening here. I think you're going to see that a lot. I think you're going to see throughout the country, people are going to see their costs rise, their options decrease, they're going to lose their doctors.
You're not going to see rising costs. You're going to see pay cuts.
Yeah.
So every time there's inflation, I'm going to drive over to Janet Yellen's house and be like, excuse me.
Exactly.
This is a pay cut.
I got an idea. I got a great idea. Why don't they put a referendum out across the country, do a polling of the people who want to reject the Obamacare or not? I guarantee it'll be 85% of the people in America will say, get rid of this garbage, because we're all paying all of a sudden this couch, and even my liberal-tacious friends have to pay more.
Okay, by the way, Harvard, not a public university. Harvard has a massive endowment.
Right, $36 billion in an endowment, and that's why some of the professors are saying, we've got resources here, we're not the average people on the street.
We're not
but
average.
Harvard says,
this is Harvard.
Listen, we have to respond to the national trend, and it goes on to say, this is in their 2015 enrollment guide, some of those rising costs are driven by health care reform. They specifically point the finger at Obamacare.
This is my favorite story so far of 2015, and I have to give Rich Lowry credit because he had the best line in his column in the New York Post today. He said, who knew karma was a pre-existing condition? And also, Jonathan Gruber, I mean, when he was talking about the stupidity of the American voter, who knew he was talking about the intelligentsia at Harvard? So what's President Obama going to do? Is he going to exempt these Harvard professors from the law that all of them supported? But this is what progressives do, Shannon. They enact laws thinking it'll never affect them. This is supposed to affect the people that don't listen to NPR, that don't drive hybrids, that didn't go to Wellesley and fancy universities. And it comes back and bites them. I mean, it really is stupid on their part to think they weren't going to be affected.
The rooster thing is coming home to rooster date.
A rooster tape.
Oh,
the rooster roost.
VetoDictionary.com. We're buying the domain during the next commercial.